पुलिस वालों ने कहा 2 घंटे बाद तुम्हारी लड़की बाहर मिल जाएगी, मगर जब 2 घंटे हो गए तो मैंने कहा मेरी लड़की आप दे दो, मगर उन्होंने कहा अब लड़की नहीं मिलेंगी, लड़की कहीं देख पेड़ पे लटकी हुई होंगी, ढूंढ जाके।
अभी आपको तो खतरा नहीं हुआ?
नहीं, हमको कोई खतरा नहीं।
बहुत धन्यवाद।
Badayu, Etawah, Azamgarh, strongholds of the Samajwadi Party and Mulayam Singh Yadav personally. 3 areas today connected for all the wrong reasons: rape, murder and brutality. As India looks to the future, this is the ultimate reality check. In India's largest state, the assault on women continues, day after day, month after month. This is not just sexual violence. It's a show of power from those who believe that they have the right to rape. Tonight, on the buck stops here, the horror stories from Uttar Pradesh. A shame for all of us as Indians. This evening we ask, is Uttar Pradesh India's most unsafe place for women? Later on in the program, just days into coming to power, this is the government that seems to want to get a move on things. Now a proposal that could reshape the defence sector in India, that's doing the rounds. The question, should 100% foreign direct investment be allowed in the defence sector? Will this sound the death knell to the indigenous manufacture of weaponry? But first, our top story. Yes, there have been arrests. Yes, the policemen who failed to protect have been dismissed. But the horrific image of 2 young girls who were raped, lynched and left hanging from a mango tree has stunned so many of us. In parts of India's largest state, is there a culture of rape? This is the story of what happened in Badayu.
As the sun sets on Katra village, it's buzzing with activity. Not just people from nearby villages, but also a flood of politicians into an otherwise quiet, nondescript village till 3 days ago.
हमारे पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष आदरणीय राजनाथ सिंह जो इस देश के गृह मंत्री भी हैं, सारी हमारा पूरा प्रतिनिधि मंडल आए यहाँ से निष्पक्ष जांच कराएंगे और दोषियों को सजा दिलाने का काम करेंगे।
पूरे प्रकरण की जांच सीबीआई से होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि सारे के सारे गुंडे माफिया अपराधी कहीं न कहीं समाजवादी पार्टी सरकार से संबंधित हैं।
The UP government too has sprung into action 2 days after the horrific act. A compensation of 5 lakh rupees and both the beat constables named by the victim's family have been dismissed.
गरीब की सुनवाई नहीं होती है। मेरे पिता गरीब हैं, कोई मदद भी नहीं करता है और उल्टी धमकाते हैं, सटकाते हैं। सुबह शाम 4 बजे आई पुलिस, कहते हैं बयान बदल दो।
ये क्या ये यादव जो लोग हैं ऐसे गुंडाई फैलाए रहते हैं क्या? औरतें डर के रहती हैं
और जब वे गुंडागर्दी करते हैं तो औरतें महिलाओं डरा जाती हैं, तब वे ज्यादा फिर बात नहीं करती हैं।
The incident also throws up some pertinent questions. The motive still unknown and the brazen manner in which the bodies were hung and left for all to see.
This display, they didn't try to hide the body, they didn't try to hide the crime. This is the kind of caste dominance and gender dominance that the UP government in this case, but the Haryana government in the Bhagana case, so many governments all over the country are actually protecting and rather than punishing the rapists.
The sense one gathers of reporting on the ground here from Katra village in the hinterlands of western UP is that of absolute helplessness. The victim's family belongs to the lowest strata of the society. Their house is built out of mud and straw. They haven't seen electricity, neither do they have a bathroom. It is these people who perhaps are in most desperate need of help that have now been shown the door. They say that they have lost absolute trust in UP police or in UP government. So who will come to their rescue now? That remains to be the big question. From Katra village in Badayu, UP, with camera person Muhammad Arif and Randeep, I'm Sonal Mehrotra, NDTV.
Well, coming up in a few minutes, if you thought Badayu was a one-off case, think again. In Etawah, the stronghold of Mulayam Singh Yadav, rape and violence is all too common. But let's start a debate this evening with a focus on Badaयूं. Joining us, Gaurav Bhatia, head of the legal cell of the Samajwadi Party, Lalita Kumaramangalam, spokesperson of the BJP, Namita Bhandare, the columnist, the gender editor now with Mint, also with us, Kavita Krishnan, the secretary of the All India Progressive Women's Association, with us at this stage as well. Gaurav Bhatia, let me come to you first. Your critics say that the victims in Badaयूं were Dalit girls. This was no coincidence. This was a show of power by those who felt that they had a right to rape.
Vishnu, I think, getting a casteist approach in this entire case would be incorrect, because a rape victim has nothing to do with religion or caste. Most important way of judging whether sufficient and quick response has been taken by the state government or not is to see what the state government has done once the crime has been committed, in this case of Badaयूं. I would also like to come to the measures that the state government has taken to improve the law and order situation. But first of all, I like to focus on the Badaयूं case. Let me tell you that once the FIR was registered, the accused persons, though some political parties are alleging they belong to a preferred community, the two of them were arrested. A police officer who was also involved was also arrested. 2 persons are absconding, and for which the state government promptly acting has constituted a team of more than 40 odd police officers, and they are looking for these 2 persons, and I'm sure that these 2 would also be arrested soon.
You see, all
financial assistance has
taken place after this has been reported so widely. There were policemen inside the home where these young girls were being raped. When that father went over there to get his daughters back, he was prevented. When he cried for help, nothing was done. The fact of the matter is, you are doing all of this now, but at the time the attacks happened, which resulted in the murder of these children, nothing was done, because you can't do anything.
Vishnu, I am not here to defend any erring officer. I think action has been taken against the negligent officers. They have been removed from service. But the FIR version given by the complainant is different from what you are saying. Let me just say this, that this itself is a very gruesome incident, and the state government needs to do far more than what it is doing, and that is why I wish to also say that there are some measures like the women's power line that the state government introduced in the state of UP, which is the only state that has this power line. More than 1.5 lakh women benefited out of this. We are recruiting more police officers because there is a huge sanction strength which has not been filled in by the
worry is that
officers.
These police officers don't respond to their officers. They respond to power brokers in their individual communities. That was the problem over here. And in several cases,
that is a trend that we need to completely eradicate from the state of UP.
So,
and
let me bring in
the action that has been taken
by
the state government so far will show that appropriate action was taken, at least in this case.
Gaurav, the problem is we keep talking about how measures are being taken. The fact of the matter is, at some stage last year, there were in 1 week alone 126 rape cases reported in Uttar Pradesh. Now, the measures were taken from the day your government came to power. But then, we keep talking about it after this event takes place.
Vishnu, let me tell you that every government would want that ideally there should be no heinous crimes against women especially. But now in a state of UP, or for that matter in any state, there are these incidents that do take place. And the endeavor of the state government is to reduce these numbers. These numbers have come down. But I don't want to get into all that.
And just be with us, because I want to bring in Kavita Krishnan. Kavita, one of the points he mentioned is, look, don't bring in a casteist angle, he said. But my point is that there was certainly a caste angle over here.
Let me explain this, because I know that even on social media there are lots of people who like to say this. Let me explain why we should look at this as a caste atrocity. It's not only on account of the I'm told by some people, I have to verify this, that the girls were not exactly SC but from an extremely backward caste, but essentially these are labouring castes, okay, which are oppressed castes. Now you tell me, if it's a rape and murder, what is the usual thing that happens? Usually the murderer will try to hide the evidence of the murder, will try to hide the bodies, dispose
dispose of the bodies so people don't find it. They do not display it publicly, hung from a mango tree in a public place where people are bound to find it. If this is done, it's a brazen display of power. It is not just the rape that is an atrocity or a murder. It is clearly the entire thing is staged to be a shocking act, to send a message of subordination to certain castes and to display the dominance of certain castes. Now, if a government denies this, I find the denial of this to be casteism. Okay, if you're going to deny the fact that caste does play a role, a rape is a rape, yes, but the point is that some rapes happen because of a male sense of entitlement over women. But yes, sometimes it is an upper caste or a Savarna caste sense of entitlement over more oppressed castes. How can we run away from this reality in India? In other countries, sometimes race is a reality. All right, and in our country, definitely caste is a reality. We cannot run away from that.
Gaurav, before I come back to you, Namita has a point. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with what Kavita is saying, and if you remember in Haryana when we had a spate of gang rapes, yes, they were all Dalit girls, and they were the rapists, the alleged rapists were all upper caste, and they were all Jat men. So when you pick on a certain caste, you pick on a woman or a girl from a certain caste, it is casteist. You can't deny it. It's not just a crime. It is doubly worse.
Gaurav, what gives people in so many instances in Uttar Pradesh? I have got so many case examples in front of me from Etawah itself, a stronghold of Mulayam Singh Yadav. What gives them the belief that they can do this and get away?
Vishnu, I would say that is not correct. Because even in the state of UP, as I said, that certain political parties were earlier, when these two accused persons had not been arrested, they said they belong to a preferred class or caste. That is why they have not been arrested. Within a few hours, these persons were arrested. And in fact, the person who's absconding would also be arrested soon, I'm pretty sure, because the teams are out.
No, but Gaurav, I have no doubt that these arrests will take place. What we are trying to analyze is why this is happening.
I just want to say one thing, Gaurav.
The point I'm trying to make is that why I said this was that please don't bring the caste angle as of now, because the investigation would also take place. And if there is any angle when, say, a member of SC/ST or an extremely backward community is, ill-treated, then that aspect would also.
Okay, one second. Renuka Chaudhary wants to come in. Renuka Chaudhary wants to come in. Renuka, go ahead. Gaurav Bhatia mentioning the point that don't bring in caste. But others saying on this panel that this is very central to the argument of what has happened in Uttar Pradesh.
I am only saying that wait for the investigation to take place. That is what I am saying. That investigation
Gaurav, these two women were strung up from a mango tree. This wasn't a show of power.
Gaurav, I think one thing which I'd like to quickly ask Gaurav here is that what about the police role? You see, the point is you suspended one officer, you're saying, and now you're saying you have arrested.
Removed from service.
You're removed from service one officer. My point is that you see, it can't be one officer or two officers. The point is there has to be, I don't know, did you invoke section 166A under which they should be prosecuted and FIR should be lodged against them for dereliction of duty? Because, and let me tell you that this is not the first case in Uttar Pradesh where police officers have been derelict. There was a case in Aligarh where they beat up Dalit protesters who were protesting against a little child's rape and murder. Okay, in Aligarh. Remember that. I think it happened sometime last year. And in that case also some suspensions happened, but 166A was not invoked. All right. And so I think that you also need to investigate and see what were superior officers doing there. What was the chain of command there? Did they not know that for 12 hours that bodies are hanging, people are protesting, or people are looking for those girls, and the police officers did not act? So I think a lot needs to be done.
Namita, one moment. Renuka Chaudhary, just come in over here. Gaurav, I'll come to you next. Renuka Chaudhary had a point. Go ahead.
Vishnu, you know, a lot of it has been covered by Kavita and Namita, but I want to ask the UP government representative who's talking on television. These are tokenisms, what you've done. You've suspended one man and you've removed one. But what is the confidence building that you have ever done in that state to assure women that they are safe? You have violated every norm. Your police officers don't bother to take action. And only when there's a song and dance on television that you go and get one head roll and this attitude. And now you are saying that you should discount the caste that has been involved in this. I think that's a bizarre take on the reality and the nastiness of
Yes, Gaurav, in
rape.
just a moment.
How can anything you say diffuse
I just wish to respond to what the Congress spokesperson is saying. I wish he had heard what I started by saying, that there are measures that...
I'm first citizen of this country and a woman, so you must respect that first.
I definitely respect you as a woman, as a citizen of this country, but please do pay attention when I said that UP is the first state which has brought in a women's power line. We have also been recruiting more police officers.
What is the result of that? How many rapes have been reduced because of your power line?
If you don't interrupt, probably you will get the essence of what I am trying to say. Just listen to me and then you can respond.
Go ahead.
The measures that the state government has taken, I mentioned the Women's Power Helpline. I mentioned that CCTV cameras, special control rooms have been made in Kanpur, Noida and other cities. We are recruiting more police officers. The state of UP was the first to adopt the guidelines of the Supreme Court when it came to heinous crimes against women. This government order was issued and it is being followed. So I wanted to specifically also address the concerns of the Budayu rape case, and that is why I didn't come to the larger picture. But if you wish to know, I have already stated them. And it is our endeavor to bring down the crime graph in the state of UP.
Lalita Kumaramangalam.
How do you prefer,
let me just go
how do you propose to bring down the crime graph?
Lalita Kumaramangalam, is that an argument that convinces you?
Police officers, by
Gaurav Bhatia essentially making the point that they've done A, B, C, D and E, and therefore the state government has done as much as it could. Things could improve, but he says that they have done as much as they could. Is that a convincing argument?
There is much more to be done, Vishnu. But we have taken some steps at least towards correcting the law and order situation.
Well, Gaurav, a lot of people would say whatever steps you've taken have been essentially, have not been enough. But Lalita Kumaramangalam, what is your argument? Go ahead.
See, I agree with what the other three ladies on this show have already said. Basically, any rape is a question of power. These guys who rape these poor young girls have just tried to show that they are more powerful. Now, the fact is that rape is, there are lots of circumstances under which rape takes place. And the most important is that no man should feel confident enough that he can get away with it.
Yes.
Kavita came up with some extremely salient points. Now, I'd also like to ask that for all this suspension or dismissal of the two policemen whom the public raised a hue and cry about, what about the collection of forensic evidence? There is nothing to prevent the guys who raped them from turning around and saying, oh, we didn't hang those girls. They hang themselves in shame.
The DNA samples are being handed over.
This evidence should have already been collected. Gaurav, let me tell you, this medical evidence needs to be collected at the earliest. It's more than 24 hours.
That has been
when
collected.
A spokesperson of the ruling party of a state comes on television to say that we are still collecting it, it's an absolute shame.
No.
Okay, and
Lalita ji, the DNA samples have been collected.
Please don't forget that yours is the state whose chief minister's father has made a statement during elections saying that galtiyan to ho jati hain. Why should we punish the boys for this?
That statement
no wonder
again,
in
Lalita
UP,
ji,
men seem to think that women are there just to be taken advantage of.
No, please don't say that statement was misconstrued.
I think
that
statement
was appalling.
And
Akhilesh Yadav's statement today was bad enough.
For the failure
if I should get in here,
Akhilesh Yadav steps to ensure women's safety.
Akhilesh Yadav today,
you made a point regarding collecting the DNA samples. Let me just apprise you that the DNA samples have been promptly
Gaurav, we take that point. We take that point. We take the point you are making about the DNA sample. But there is another point being made over here about the language which has been used by Mulayam Singh earlier on and the flippant remarks made by Akhilesh Yadav today. All right.
Vishnu,
is that not a problem?
The Chief Minister himself said that we will provide security to the family members of the deceased.
Gaurav, the remarks made by Mulayam Singh Yadav have not been misreported or misrepresented.
After all the hue and cry that was made.
Vishnu ji,
despite that, your Chief Minister
let me tell you that when the Women's Commission had asked for a reply, we furnished a reply to the Women's Commission and it was found to be satisfactory. And the entire speech was not shown on various channels and the exact import of what he said was conveyed to the Women's Commission. It is a statutory body. Let's have some respect for it.